Okay, so for our third part of our shed tutorial, we're going to add in doors, windows, and an interior wall into our shed to create the two different spaces. So I want to get to my floor level, so you can either double click on it. Over in floor plans, I still have it open from before. So I want to add in a door. So I already have one door added here, but that's actually not the size I want to use for an exterior door. But you probably only see the single flush, and it's pretty boring. So I'm going to show you how to add in more door options. So there is this load family button. So I'm going to click that, and I actually have to back up here. So yours will look like this, and it has all of these folders of different things you can add in. We obviously want a door, so we're going to go in the door folder. And there is commercial, hardware, residential, some kind of basic ones here. I'm going to go into residential, and I want an exterior door. So I'm going to look through, maybe I'll do this rounded one for this example here. You probably want exterior or garage door. You don't want to do and won't fit on our shed. And then there's interior, this is for the outside of our shed. So we want exterior. So find one that you like, and I'm going to click open. And now it asks you for the size. Before it would actually load all of them, which was kind of nice, but now I guess we have to choose which one you want. So since this is an exterior and to meet like ADA standards and all of that stuff, we want our exterior door to be 36 by 84 to make it handicap accessible. And so that's wide enough. So I click that one, and I'm going to click OK. So now it does automatically modify it there. So I have my 36 by 84. And now I can choose where I want it. So it's obviously going to attach to a wall. It knows that it can't just like be a floating door in the middle of a room. And I want my door, I want it near a corner. And I'm going to make it so that my door opens towards like, or the door is near the wall. I'll show you what I mean here. So I'm just going to click it where I want it. And if I zoom in here, you can see that there's these little arrows where you can flip which way it opens. So I'm going to have mine open to the inside, and I want like the door part to like be near the wall. So that way when you walk in, nice open space. So you can choose how you want yours, but that's what I'm going to do for mine. So there is my door. You can, it automatically like sets dimensions and stuff too. So I went back to like my little modify arrow, and you can see that it automatically adds in dimensions. You can, cancel. You can edit these two, so if you needed a certain distance, you can see exactly, it automatically puts those things in there for you. All right, so there's my door. I'm going to add in my interior wall first, because where my two rooms that we create in here, each of them needs a window. So I'm going to go to my wall, and instead of our basic generic wall, I want to change it to an interior. Do 3 1/8. It's very slim. It's good for inside of a shed. That'll work for one of my walls. So you can decide how you want your two rooms in here to sit. It has to stay inside of here. I'm just going to make kind of like a little closet. And you can see it kind of snaps. If you want to do angles and things, you are more than welcome to. We'll go 6 feet, 5.5. That's a good little closet inside of the shed. So let me double check that these walls, that is not what I wanted on there. So whichever wall that you have the door on, you're probably going to need a little thicker so that the door has room for it. So I think I'm going to put my door on this longer wall. So this one, the door wall, is going to be 4 7/8, which is actually what it did there. My other wall, I don't need it as thick, so that's going to be the 3 1/8. Then you can see that both of these are thinner than the outside too. So then I'm going to get my door, and I'm going to load up a cool interior door. Let's see, panel. I kind of like that one. So I'm going to do open. For a size for our interior door, let's do like 30 by 84. So it's a little narrower, but not too much. And again, I'm going to put that on my thicker wall. I think I'm going to have it open to the outside to give it more space in there. So there we go, a nice big closet inside of my shed. So kind of to summarize, this door is 36 by 84 for my exterior. My interior door is 30 by 84. The wall that the door is on is this basic wall interior 4 7/8 to make it thick enough for that door frame. And then the other wall is just basic wall interior 3 1/8. So you want to follow those sizes. So now I'm going to add in my windows. So I need a window in each of the rooms. So I'm going to go to window, and again, it's pretty, there's double hung, casement double, but I want to see what other ones there are. Maybe there's some really cool windows. So because we were in our doors folder, you're going to want to back up onto that US Imperial. Let's find windows. And so skylights would be in the ceiling, so that we're not going to get to for this project right now, but those are kind of cool. Let's see. Wow. So I kind of like that. Maybe look a little different, a little decorative on the shed. I'll make this into a she shed for myself. So I'll do open. So windows. Ooh, sizes. So you might have to play around a little bit since we can't choose all of them. Or maybe. Haha. All right, so if you do want all of them, so you can kind of play with what size it actually is if you don't know what a good size. Because windows for this, there's not a code because it's not a bedroom. So if you click the top one and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can hold the shift key and click the bottom one and it selects all of them. That's how we can get all of them. So I'm going to click OK. And it's going to load. And so now for my window awning triple horizontal, it has all of them. So I'm going to go a little bit on the bigger side. We'll try 72 by 80, 28. And I'm going to put a wall window. So when you are placing your window, you can kind of see those blue dimensions, and that's telling me where it's at. So I want this to be centered. So I want to make sure that it's right in the middle, 8 feet on both sides before I click it. It's a lot easier to do it now. So that looks centered. That is centered. So I'm going to click that. And it's obviously not going to fit in that room. So maybe for that one, I'll do a little bit smaller. 60 by 28. Sure, a bright window in there. So again, just like the door, that does give you dimensions, so I can tell like I did center that in that room. Oh, so another thing with the windows that you can see these little arrows, how it can flip in and out. So it's like what's the outside, what's the inside of the window. So we want it that way. And when you do your 3D model, you'll be able to tell a little bit too. All right. So now we have our windows, our doors, our walls. Let's take a look at what the 3D view looks like. It actually looks okay. So sometimes that interior wall will actually go like through the roof. And if that happened, so you can kind of see in our properties, if yours did go through the roof, and you can change this top constraint. So mine says up to level roof. So that means it's only going up to the roof. It's not going past it. Both of them are there. If I did unconnected, 8 feet, it would be right up there, but it might not be fully flush all the way if we were to look in the windows. Let's look here actually. Zoom around. Oh, can we look from the bottom? Yeah, so it doesn't go all the way up because obviously this wall is 8 feet, but the ceiling is higher. So we want to make, and this one, you can tell it does go all the way up. So for those walls, we want it to go all the way up to the roof. Up to roof. Up to roof. Another thing you can do just to make sure, especially when we're doing bigger things, when you can actually go inside more, you can click attach top to base, and that will send it up there also. All right. All right, so the last thing we're gonna do with our house is render it. So this is where it starts to look really cool and kind of like where the magic happens. So I want in my 3D view to make my position or get my house positioned how I want. So I'm going to rotate around. I want to see that door and a window. We'll do that. I like that positioning. So however you have it set up right now is what it's going to kind of take a really fancy picture of, and you won't be able to rotate once it renders without waiting longer. So you want to get this view set up exactly what you want to show off. And so there is, oh, my little, hide that. This little teapot down in the bottom. So this says show rendering dialog. And so I have it all set up. So for quality, right now it's set to draft. The higher you go, the longer it's going to take, but the better it's going to look. But it will take a while. So I'm going to do draft and click render just to show you. All right, so there it goes. Doesn't look that great. So that is the draft. If I go to like high, and I have to click render again, and it's going to think and do its thing. And depending on your computer quality, how much time you have is how long this will take. So I'm going to skip ahead here so you guys don't have to watch this go. All right, so probably took just under 2 minutes there. There we go. I'm going to have to play with this some more. So once you have it looking how you want and beautiful, like roof should look more different. Some of this should look more different, but once you have it all good, you're going to click Save to Project. We want to give it a name, so I'm going to call it Shed Exterior 1. But sometimes you might have multiple. And click OK. So I'm going to close this, and now like it does go away, but where it ended up being now is down in our little renderings tab, and we're going to use that later for when we put together our sheets that kind of you would give to somebody to make this or to understand what's going on. All right, so I actually fixed my roof here. The material for some reason didn't save for our asphalt shingles. So I'm gonna re-render this on medium because that's probably good enough for this project, and it's pretty quick. There we go. Now the roof actually has some material to it. So our walls are really boring just because of those new materials that we made. We didn't play around with like the look of those materials. I'll show you guys how to do that later, but that looks pretty good to me. So before you quit, I mean, you want to make sure you save the project. I'm going to call this Shed Exterior A. Because other times you might have multiple views. This one will probably be okay with just this one. I'm going to click OK. And now I can close my rendering window. So it does save it then when we did save the project to this rendering tab in our project browser. So I have a 1 and an A because when I was playing around and fixing my roof. So there is that new rendering, and that we will use tomorrow or in your next video, the final part of this tutorial series, putting together all of the architectural sheets that you'd give to another architect or a construction person to actually make this shed.